This video will basically just be me dismantling bullshit arguments against veganism because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So, yeah, this guy is named James Plunkett. This video was published on January 18th of this year, 2018. And so yeah, he's going to be arguing against veganism because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's socially engineered as fuck, which is sad. He doesn't realize the truth about how humans are physiological, psychological herbivores, and how eating animals literally kills people with atherosclerotic lesions and plaque caused by cholesterol, saturated fat, trans fat. Yeah, like humans make their own cholesterol. That's why we don't need to eat it. That's why herbivores go their whole entire lives without ever ingesting dietary cholesterol because they make it themselves. So once you realize this fact, and then other facts too of how, the second you eat an egg or drink some milk or eat some dead, innocent, tortured flesh, you're getting chronic disease from that, or I should say chronic disease, but you're getting you're doing damage to your physical body. Not to mention like the fact that if you're a spiritual, moral being, who thinks you're a good person, and even these hypocrites who say, and these speciesists who say, oh, I love animals, but hey, fuck cows, chickens, and pigs because they taste good, bacon, like, yeah, real moral and real, logically consistent to immoral people. Like, I hate calling people trash and shit and not good people and bad people, but I'm sorry, it's the truth. You're not a good person if you've heard that, like, especially like these people who don't know about the truth, like they think they've been brainwashed their whole life and they're still unable to comprehend the truth as far as children and stuff goes. But once you're old enough and you have access to the truth, as far as book, books, the internet, of course, all these powerful things, documentaries on television, whatever, that tell the truth, and you just blatantly ignore it or don't get curious about it, like according to how severe your programming is and indoctrination you have in your culture. So yeah, culture is not your friend. It's a fucking joke. Like if you're a culture based on freedom and individuality and truth and healthy expression of yourself, as far as following the do no harm but take no shit principle of the universe and natural law, like people want to argue against all this bullshit. But anyways, here we go. I'm gonna fucking go off on a tangent here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Thursday, January 18th. Today, I wanted to give a little summary and my thoughts on the documentary What the Health. Last week, I had a client ask me about it, and I heard about it maybe a year or so ago, but I had not watched it. She told me a little bit about it, and basically said she didn't want to eat meat anymore, in a roundabout way. And to me, from what she was saying, is it kind of sounded like it was trying to persuade people to a certain lifestyle, and then come to find out it's about veganism.
Okay, right there, I'm just going to quickly say, like, people always like to use euphemisms and fucked up words because words have been so fucked up by the social elite or the social engineers and the criminal, psychopathic, like, the natural law criminals, I should say, the ones who have broken, natural law and are continuing to break it right now by somehow twisting words around and misunderstanding words, and they just use words they don't understand. But as far as people using, like, persuade, well, persuade to the truth. Like, is that a bad thing to try to get people to see the truth as far as how reality actually functions and how, you're being immoral and unhealthy to yourself and to the environment by being a herbivore that thinks driving dead, tortured, innocent flesh and baby cow growth fluid and chicken periods into their belly on a regular basis, sometimes up to 3 or more times a day, doing this to them is somehow, healthy and sustainable and necessary and moral. Like, it's not. So, yeah. Sorry if I screw up on my words here. I find I try to really, like, my thought processes can be really long, but it's hard for me to keep all the words and get it out in a coherent way because there's so many words I could be using to describe my ideas and thoughts. So yeah, my bad. Anyways, let's continue.
And it just seems like it had an agenda. So, and I told her that, and she wanted me to watch it before I
Yeah, agenda of the truth.
form my opinion, which is perfectly fine. I agree. That's how things should be done. So I promised her I'd watch it last weekend, and I did. And now I'm going to give you guys my review on it. I also had a client I spoke to this morning that said they'd been discussing it in their group session, I think last year whenever it came out, and said that they were all afraid to eat meat and just concerned about the things that they said in the documentary. So,
Yeah, like once again, they should be afraid to eat meat because it's unhealthy. The same way I'm afraid to smoke cigarettes because I know they're giving me an increased chance of cancer. Not to mention bad breath, stained teeth, just overall self-destructive shitting, and not to mention the fact I'm polluting the environment around me too by smoking. So yeah, like I'm afraid to shoot myself in the foot because it'll hurt a lot and I might result in multiple things happening to me that could result in like blood loss, severe pain, shock, the list goes on. Like afraid, yeah.
first off, what I want to say is I don't have a problem with veganism, vegetarianism, none of that stuff. People need to eat.
Wow, this has been multiple YouTubers have come out with this, like vegan YouTubers I should say. Wow, good job. Like this is what like this is me mocking him essentially. Like, I have absolutely no problem with people who don't kill and eat each other. Like cannibalism or people who aren't cannibals, I have absolutely no problem with their choices in life. Like, really? Like, that's what you sound like. I have absolutely no problem with herbivores that eat their proper diet. Like, real good there, buddy.
What they want to eat to make them happy. The only problem that there is with that is whenever your goals don't align with your plan. So, and that's kind of my thing on that. Veganism is going to be harder. Just when you don't eat animal products, it's going to be harder to maintain muscle tissue. Definitely harder to build muscle tissue. It's also going to be more difficult to lose fat.
Okay, I haven't done too much, looking into as far as building muscle on a vegan diet. I know it's obviously done. Like, it's a fact. It's a lot, I don't know about the speed of building muscle versus if you're eating lots of animal proteins too, but I would say that overall, even if you can build muscle a little bit faster, eating animal products, or even a lot faster, it doesn't negate the fact that you're causing arterial damage to your body. You're exposing yourself to, like the heme iron and that oxidative stress, the list goes on. Obviously the cholesterol, saturated trans fat, the parasites, the bacteria, the viruses that are potentially in meat. Even if you do cook it, it doesn't matter because your body still reacts to it, or at least it doesn't matter in the respect that your body still reacts to it with inflammation. You're basically, when you cook it, it's such a small level that your body recognizes it for what it is, even if it's alive or dead, and it sends off, a bunch of alarms, quote-unquote alarms in your body that cause it to, get inflamed, start releasing all these different, substances and, cells and stuff like that, increasing white blood cell count or whatever, just to try to counteract all the shit you're putting into it. Like, once again, herbivores eating meat will never work, let alone herbivores drinking the milk secretions of another mammal, or eating the, chicken periods, or, the eggs of another species. Like, it's stupid. Like, good luck being healthy on that, with that lifestyle choice. And it's also immoral as fuck and environmentally destructive. Like, you'll never win with this argument. So this is just fucking stupid. But yeah, here we go.
And that's the main thing we deal with at the gym. Fat loss, building muscle. Trying to raise somebody's resting metabolism so they burn more calories when they're not with us. But I'll first say the thing that bothers me with documentaries like this one is they've got an agenda. They're trying to push the vegan lifestyle, and
So this guy obviously, heavily socially engineered or indoctrinated, and of course, self-deluding himself. Of course, like, people have free will to choose just to be ignorant and stupid. Like, no offense, but it's true. Or yeah, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Get as offended as you like, as some people say. Like, yeah, get offended, appeal to your fucking stupid emotions. Like, there's, going back again to this guy arguing against the whole agenda thing. Well, there's been agenda since day one for millennia to slowly convince mankind to be herbivores to be herbivores that think is healthy to eat meat, just from, the population in general, so supporting the whole dominant base belief, and then also being forced down our throats daily by fucking government and, corporations saying, oh, it's healthy to eat this, it's healthy to do that. Just like a couple decades ago, we had fucking idiot doctors saying, oh, it's healthy to smoke cigarettes, it's healthy to do, like, yeah, good luck thinking that. Just like, this is going to piss some people off, but thinking that, driving your body through, jogging 8 hours a day is somehow healthy, and then, doing that multiple times, not every day. Like, yeah, no wonder some of these, runners and shit look like they're like, they're like, 30 or 40, and they look like they're, decades older than they should be, and their skin's all wrinkly and banged up looking, and they look just unhealthy because, yeah, they might be thin and stuff, and might have a nice low resting heart rate maybe, but of course they're herbivores that are eating meat, and for the most part, and also the whole, pounding and destroying your joints, running off fucking concrete, like for hours and hours every day. Like, yeah, good luck, not destroying your body with that lifestyle. But, yeah, like, this guy doesn't understand the whole agenda to push bullshit on people. Like, consume toxins, everybody. Yeah, good job.
What I see in my industry is it causes more confusion, and it uses a lot of scare tactics, and then people are left kind of not knowing what to do. So then when they come...
Okay, confusion and scare tactics. Confusion and scare tactics. Yeah, real good. Because somehow telling the truth is, naturally combative against bullshit, obviously. Like, when someone, even nowadays, or throughout history, the bullshit arguments that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, in denial of reality and truth, and scared usually of power, because power usually is just power. It can be used for good or evil. Like, I won't get into that here, but, it's just like, it's blatant stuff. But, going into scare tactics and confusion, yeah, it generates confusion with people that are very heavily indoctrinated and self-deluding and, blind, lost, or evil, essentially, because they have been socially engineered to be confused, and then when they hear something that's completely combative against the bullshit they've been fed throughout their entire lifetime, yeah, like some 50-year-old or 60 or 70-year-old person hearing the vegan argument is going to have instant, confusion and denial, because for some reason it's been socially engineered in the lifestyle that promotes carnism or meat eating and drinking, baby cow growth fluid and eating chicken periods is somehow, healthy, necessary, natural, because we're omnivores, even though we have no claws, no teeth, no predatory instincts. Like, yeah, good luck with that lifestyle. But, so it's, the social engineering aspect of this is really placed heavily with the whole vegan movement, because, the push of the industry that, the people that make billions of dollars off of getting people to eat meat, dairy, and eggs, like, not to mention the subsidizing with this, like, yeah, the subsidizing is ridiculous. People that think, a Big Mac or something is, $7 or $6, depending where you're at, or even cheaper depending where you're at, but, like, it'd be double that at least, I think, if the whole subsidizing aspect can come into play with the tax-farmed, wage debt slavery we have that just shears the public every way it can to promote the government's agenda of, mass control and essentially culling of the herds through their bullshit agendas to, get themselves more powerful, and, and then they just basically say fuck the rest. So, yeah.
Talk to a professional like myself or any of my trainers, then they have this mixed message and they're unsure who to believe. Do I believe, the guys at the gym, or do I believe this documentary who has a bunch of doctors on it who you think would be knowledgeable and have your best interest at heart? And that bothers me because I was overweight when I was younger, as you.
Right here, I would just like to say the importance of critical thinking and being able to, delve into the importance of, like isolation and isolating certain topics and ideas and principle and truths and facts, like as far as looking into the like isolating cholesterol and dietary cholesterol and the whole herbivores versus omnivores versus carnivores and how they all survive as far as getting proper nutrition from their environment. But yeah, like cholesterol, saturated trans fat, even just ignore the saturated and trans fat, just focus on cholesterol. Just isolate cholesterol, dietary cholesterol, how that all applies together, okay? And then, branch out to the holistic view as far as humans being physiological, okay? Like the whole system, the whole human body system, physiological, psychological herbivores. Like that's why little kids don't go on field trips to go break their own chicken's neck and bring the corpse home or eat it there raw because they can handle it because their body type is meant to handle, okay, pathogens inherent in eating raw meat. That's why carnivores and omnivores can have a diet purely on eating meat and they won't get atherosclerosis, okay? Depending on obviously different omnivores and carnivores, but even the whole argument that cats eat grass, so they're omnivores. No, they eat grass for other reasons, but they're the whole argument. People just don't even understand carnivores, omnivores, and herbivores. So and then of course you see deer eating baby birds. So people say, oh yeah, deer are omnivores. No, they're not. A deer eating a baby bird is getting himself exposing himself to atherosclerotic lesions and plaque because of the fact that he's going to be boosting up his, or it's going to be boosting up its dietary cholesterol, or its cholesterol levels in his bloodstream because it's just introducing dietary cholesterol into his diet. Or, yeah, it's fucked.
You guys know that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm very passionate about what I do. And I probably struggled with my weight for 10 years before I fully grasped how to get my weight off and keep it off.
And once again, all these people like to argue against veganism by saying, "Oh, there's a bunch of healthy, fit-looking people who eat meat every day." Well, yeah, if you exercise every day and work out and lower your stress and all this stuff like that, yeah, you're going to be and of course limit your exposure to toxins petroleum, plastics, and pollute the pharmaceutical thing and the list goes on. Yeah, you're gonna be healthier, and of course working out a lot. But then you constantly hear these stories of going into anecdotes of people in the gym dropping dead at 49 or 30, even from heart attacks because they just love their meat, dairy, and eggs so much, and steak and eggs for breakfast is a bodybuilder champion. Yeah, and once again going back to the whole building muscle by eating meat. I'm not an expert on this. I'm not expert on anything. I'm just a fucking regular guy. If you haven't, got that just yet. But we can't keep thinking that somehow, even if you can, building muscle, obviously is possible. Eating meat, dairy, and eggs for a herbivore, yeah, but you're also giving yourself chronic disease. You're being immoral and environmentally destructive to that. Of course, all that. Yeah. So it's just ridiculous. These arguments people make just dance around the truth.
And the biggest thing I've learned over the years is you got to do all the little things. The major stuff that they recommend, doing a bunch of cardio.
Yeah, which I recommend that. You gotta do the big stuff and the little things too if you want to be fully as healthy as you possibly can. That's why, for me, the big things as far as healthy living is proper diet, exercise, and no stress or stress killing. Stress is healthy in the respect that it'll get you to get things done, but then just shrug it off as you get it done, and throughout the day just keep meditating and focusing on just realizing that stress kills. A little bit of stress is good. That's what, I'm stressing out enough to get this video done, for example. I realize that people and animals are dying innocently and needlessly because of idiotic taste pleasure excuses. So, of course, appeals to futility and, nihilism and apathy and all this bullshit, logical fallacies and destructive ideas and lifestyles. But, yeah, we can't have this whole idea that somehow, just focusing on one thing, isolating things is somehow health, and then of course that's why I like taking certain supplements, or minerals and herbs, and different healthy teas I drink, and just meditation and different exercises and doing healthy, fun things like hanging out with friends and people I enjoy being around. Cool family members I actually like, and the list goes on. So, yeah, this guy's right, and I respect that. It's the little things, but it's also the big things too. Like, good luck being a fucking person who does yoga and works out and exercises and de-stresses and meditates and takes a bunch of healthy supplements or whatever they, is actually truthful and necessary and healthy, and then they decide to just eat raw, rotten baby cow liver all day, every day, and just think that's the healthiest thing they could be doing, and then also maybe eating some shit too, like, oh yeah, I need to eat some shit, and maybe I'll drink some piss too because, I think this is healthy because of whatever bullshit argument you want to make against that or for that. So like, yeah, like once again, I can be as healthy as I want, but if I decide to shoot myself in the face with a shotgun once a year, like, yeah, first time I do that, it'll be over, and I won't be doing that ever again, because I hopefully would have learned that a shotgun blast to my face isn't healthy. Same thing with a herbivore eating meat, dairy, and eggs, or, tortured innocent muscle tissue or organ tissue, and, yeah, like, for my argument, I'll go on here.
Real, just different diets that they're recommended in the media. They send us in all different directions, and really, the answer is you got to do the hard stuff. So the biggest thing is you got to eat right. And in my opinion, for fat loss and my experience, over the last 15, 20 years, you've got to eat a lot of protein, and to get high quality protein.
Okay, yeah, like you just said what I said earlier about the big stuff too, little things and big things. You got to eat a lot of protein though if you want to build muscle. Well, I know, like, yes, you need protein to build tissue. Protein is a necessary factor in having a healthy body. It's what our body uses. Amino acids, essentially, I think there's like, what, 9 or something? I can't remember exactly the whole number. I should have got my chronometer with me here, but, yeah, like, you need these essential, acids, or I think amino acids or fatty acids or whatever. I'm not exactly sure how it's all proteins, or lipoproteins or whatever. But sorry, it's just like, yeah, we need protein to build muscle and body tissue in general, but it doesn't mean that you have to get it from meat, dairy, and eggs, and if you do, it's going to be unhealthy for you in the respect that you're also, driving a bunch of other, shit you don't want into your body. So, yeah, like, I'll give them props on the whole, big things like diet and exercise and de-stressing and, doing things you enjoy and learning how to, healthy distractions, healthy, quote, escaping. We're able to dive into a fantasy world, or just, just go, empty for a bit with a meditation where you just, avoid empty meditation where you can just totally distress and go somewhere else and get that bliss going on again. And, you can feel nothing. Just, blah, just be. Don't, we're human beings, not human doings, not human thinkings. We're human beings with minds that are, minds are our tools. Minds are something we use to interact with our environment, and same with, bodies and stuff too, but yeah.
Protein, you get a large amount of it. You're going to be eating a lot of lean meats. You're going to be eating eggs, egg whites, and, some protein powders in there. And your animal proteins are going to be a lot higher quality.
Gross, okay, like, quality of proteins is irrelevant when you're still killing yourself with being a herbivore eating fucking meat. Like, good luck being healthy as a herbivore that thinks eating, lean meats and egg whites and egg yolks and drinking milk is what you need. Like, this guy, once again, has been, socially engineered himself, socially engineered by society, like, the social engineers that have been pushing all this crap to their multiple facets. Books, movies, video games, fucking, magazines, mainstream media, of course, is a massive big one, and the list goes on. Like, it's just suggested everywhere that herbivores eating meat is healthy, like, fuck. So, yeah.
And your vegetable proteins. And that's just kind of the fact of the matter. That's not my opinion. That's scientific fact. So, that's my issue.
So yeah, sorry, I won't, the whole scientific fact argument he's making here, I can just dismiss it by saying, like, once again, if I have a super healthy, high protein source, or good protein source, protein shake or meal, that's great. But if I add mercury to it, or cyanide, or arsenic, and any levels high enough to kill me, then fuck, you're stupid. Oh, healthy, good, bioavailable protein or whatever. Like, that's irrelevant in the face that you're poisoning yourself, literally. Like, not like, figuratively, oh, it's not that good for you. No, you are literally killing yourself intentionally by driving these unhealthy products into your belly as a herbivore that likes eating dead flesh. Good job.
You know, with a documentary like that is they're misleading people and they're making people worse off. So
Okay, misleading people and making them worse off. Yeah, if you're an idiot vegan who doesn't know the whole B12 argument, and how you also need healthy fats like omega 3s and 6s to be healthy, then yeah, you're gonna be fucking sick and pale and unhealthy looking, and yeah, you're gonna represent the vegan movement in a poor way because you're not taking care of yourself first. Like, yeah, and that's why we see, some vegans go back to being omnivores again because they don't understand what's going on. And a big thing too with this is that when you're a herbivore that's been eating meat, dairy, and eggs 3 times a day or more or less, on a regular basis, like most of these like people, especially living in first world countries too, and other countries too, like see it all over the world, people just constantly driving dead animals into their belly and then wondering why they're all sick and confused and dying. And of course, these people can still be healthy, obviously, in some regard. Uh, but yeah, like, like, uh, yeah, sorry, you're going back to my argument there as far as herbivores that have been eating meat, dairy, and eggs throughout their whole life, basically. Yeah, their body, like your body adjusts to it. Your body actually physically adjusts to it to counteract that. It doesn't have to make cholesterol anymore because it's getting cholesterol in its diet 3 times a day. It doesn't have to, produce certain vitamins in certain ways because it's getting those vitamins directly from the diet it makes. So your body adjusts to that, so it doesn't have to continually, it's not getting unhealthy levels of vitamins and cholesterol, and so really unhealthy levels. I shouldn't say healthy, but like, you know what I mean? So it's pretty simple when you sort of step back and look at it. But for me, it's just, your body adjusts the same way, like with smoking, for example. Smokers, like when I first tried smoking a whole cigarette, like just a few puffs here and there was really no big deal. Of course, it tastes like crap and made me cough, obviously. But, after having like my first whole cigarette when I was like 16 or 17, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I felt nauseous, I felt dizzy, I felt, like my vision got kind of, banged up. I started coughing and stuff. I felt like throwing up. And my instant thought was like, how the fuck do people smoke, a pack a day? And I realized that people will, or the physical human body will adjust to being exposed to toxins and make you actually in some ways feel good about it. That's why, smokers, oh, I love having my smoke. It's just their body trying to make you feel good for poisoning itself. And their bodies are responding, okay, I guess we're going to be continually poisoned, so you might as well make it so that you kind of enjoy this. It's kind of the Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. It's kind of like, it's really interesting the way consciousness and physical bodies will try to adjust to pain and torture and unhealthy conditions by sort of making you enjoy it, and like the way people sort of rationalize all different kinds of bullshit behaviors that destroy them and the environment they're in, and innocent life around them.
from a fat loss standpoint, I don't think vegetarianism is your quickest way from point A to point B. And like I mentioned, the reason it bothers me is because
Okay, like how we said vegetarianism and not veganism, because vegetarians still eat fucking milk and dairy and honey too. Like, yeah, these people can't lose weight very well on these diets because you're still driving cholesterol, saturated trans fat, heme iron, all this shit into your body, causing all kinds of problems. And then also know that your body stores toxins in fat. So people that are really unhealthy and large, and also and that way too because they've been eating meat, dairy, and eggs. Their body is storing all these toxins from this poor diet into their fat cells too, like other cells too, obviously, but fat is a big one. So that's why when people try losing weight and detoxifying and stuff like that, people will get kind of sick and unhealthy because their body is just their bloodstream is getting more flooded with toxins as they're trying to release and lose weight and burn off these unhealthy cells in their body.
because I was led down the wrong road for 10 years.
Oh yeah, not saying being fat or certain like healthy level of fat is healthy. Like, not saying zero body fat's healthy, because you don't want that. You want a healthy level of fat to cushion your organs and to provide insulation, and you want healthy levels of fat. So yeah, people like to jump to conclusions with all of this shit and just like go to one extreme to the other, because even like it's interesting, the whole mental illness essentially that has been pushed on the public by multiple groups to just get people all mentally, emotionally, physically, and then of course spiritually banged up. And it just results in this world we see today of pollution and toxicity and violence and hate. And yeah, of course that's all dying out as far as people waking up and cleaning the environment and stuff, but it's still, yeah, it's crazy.
Until I finally figured it out. And that's the biggest thing I try to do, and we try to do at the gym, is we try to eliminate all the myths and all the stuff that is out there, all the fad diets and all that kind of stuff. And it really comes down to hard work. You gotta eat right, which is a lot of meats, vegetables.
Eat right, this is meat. Yeah, good job. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Limit your carbs, try to avoid processed foods, and limit your fats, within reason.
Okay, carbs is what the human body uses for fuel, and so, yeah, like, I've heard multiple vegans say this, carb the fuck up. Like, yeah, carb up, it's your body's natural healthy, or, one of your body's, sources of fuel. Like, yeah, and then, yeah, obviously you want to reduce and eliminate toxins from, all areas. And you also want to, eat healthy whole foods. Like, yeah, healthy whole plant-based foods. Like, that's why oil isn't healthy. People want to say oil's healthy. No, it's not. Like, it's just extremely concentrated fat. Like, yeah, a little bit here and there is going to do too much to you. But at the end of the day, it's like smoking. Smoking isn't good for you. Or at least smoking tobacco. I'm not going to argue against the whole marijuana thing, because marijuana hasn't killed anybody, so obviously it's doing something there that even the minor lung damage is doing as far as inhaling the whole burning plant material is negligible in regards to the whole aspect of other chemicals in the plant that are at least destroying that whole, or destroying the damage that's being done to the lungs by inhaling carbon monoxide and other stuff in burning plant matter.
Those things. And then
I like to say it once again, the way people are deceived with this whole thing is the way people will mix the truth with bullshit. And that's how you fool people. You gotta take the truth, because people align with the truth. The truth is easy to understand usually, it's straightforward. And then people like to convolute it and fuck it up with their own bullshit to make their own money or whatever. And it comes down to people mixing the truth with some bullshit, and then people like to drink it, and as long as you mix enough bullshit in there, or enough truth in there, people will drink it and say it tastes good. Like, it's like if I had a nice, super healthy drink with a bunch of tasty, delicious, like your favorite fruits and vegetables, for example, whatever you want, or maybe just one or the other, like you want like a sort of, I won't get into that, but, and then I just add a little tiny bit of, shit, or a little tiny bit of poison, or a little tiny bit of, something sort of you don't want in there, a little bit of mercury, that you won't taste it, won't kill you right off the bat, but hey, you do it all day, every day, and then 20 years down the road, you're going, oh, I don't feel so good. Yeah, because you've been dropping poison in your belly 3 times a day, 7 days a week, for years on end. So, like, yeah, good luck being healthy with that lifestyle, and yeah, so it's sad, the whole bullshit scheme that people are pushing on each other, and then pushed on them by the whole social engineering, sociopathic, psychopathic, elite scum.
lift weights. So, in a simple form, you need to burn more calories every day than you consume. And, one of the big things in my industry that drives me nuts.
Yeah, of course, energy out. That's why, for me, lots of people, or everybody, comes down to, if you're eating a ton of calories every day and then not working out enough and then of course a big calorie burner is your brain. Like, I think your brain burns about 30% of your energy. So, for me, my mind, if I want to fully engage it, it'll just be, I know I'll have to continue eating throughout the day, because it's just, my thoughts and all that stuff can just really be, I wouldn't say fast, not necessarily fast, but I can have a higher processing speed than other people, because I'm just not chemically dumbed down, banged up inside. I've gone vegan now again, and staying vegan, of course. And I'm not gonna lie here. I was carnist. I was born carnist. My family thought eating meat, dairy, and eggs was healthy, natural, necessary because everybody else was doing it. And yeah, like the list goes on. But obviously, I've snapped out of it. So, and I won't ever be going back to eating meat, dairy, and eggs, knowing how unhealthy it is, and how immoral as fuck it is, and how environmentally destructive it is. Like, yeah.
Everybody thinks you gotta do cardio. Um,
Yeah, cardio. Like, you gotta work out. That's why for me, like, and other people too, I love being healthy and getting that urge to just go do healthy exercises. Like, I love doing my push-ups and my chin-ups and going for walks, or going for runs, like healthy runs, or hopping on my bike, or the list goes on. Like, doing some yoga, or, some nice relaxing Tai Chi, or anything else besides fucking just sitting there being a fucking lump on the log. Well, I guess energy is telling me to go move, at least a little bit.
you burn calories when you sleep. So the whole thing about you gotta burn, you gotta do cardio, you gotta burn fat, all that stuff. It's a lie. And it bothers me because I spent 10 years of my life frustrated.
Um, yeah, like, I guess he doesn't understand how the human body works and how, like, yeah, you have to, like, yeah, you burn carbs when you sleep, but you're not burning a lot. Your body's repairing itself. Like, yeah, it depends on how healthy you are and all that stuff. Like, everybody's different. But, generally, if you can be a fat, unhealthy vegan if you just drive unhealthy products into your belly, like unhealthy vegan products. And, I shouldn't say unhealthy, but less healthy, or, I don't know, I won't get into the whole oil, much of the oil, sugar, fat thing. But, like, it comes down to, calories in versus calories burnt. And, like, the human body has a baseline, depending on who you are, of, so many calories burnt a day just to maintain your life, just to maintain consciousness in your body requires so many calories depending on your body size and age and all this stuff. And then, of course, tack on exercise levels and, amount of physical activity and the amount of brain activity. If you're some brain dead, comatose person who doesn't move, doesn't think, and you're just laying there basically sustaining physical, biological life, yeah, you're not going to be burning many calories, and then you're going to be surviving off IV drip. But if you're a person who's, very mentally, emotionally active, and physically active, and, you're engaging in life on a regular basis in a healthy, exercising way, and, like, of course, like, thinking on a regular basis, and you're not just sort of some brain-dead zombie who just sort of barely thinks, then, yeah, you're going to be burning a heck of a lot more calories because the energy you're burning is, or, like, sorry, brain fart, like, yeah, because, like, you're burning more energy, so you're going to need more energy, you're going to need more calories, you're going to need more, healthy foods if you want to be, healthy and have a good energy level. Like, good luck being healthy and having good energy levels without having some sorts of energy. Like, yeah, basic, universal laws dictate that you can't just create energy out of nothing. It has to come from somewhere, essentially. And so, yeah.
And everything you hear is you gotta do cardio. So much so, I remember there was there was an ad on the radio about 10 years ago, and they were saying.
And people, like, all the bullshit campaigns and confusion about this whole how to be healthy thing, like, it's a holistic thing. It can't just be, you gotta focus on, the truth and things that are important. Cardio and working out is important if you want to be healthy and have, have lots of healthy energy levels and all this stuff like that. So that's just basic common sense, but, some people just don't want to dance around that truth.
And that, if you're a female over the age of 40, you got to do an hour of cardio a day to maintain your weight. That is an absolute lie, and
yeah, like, I'll agree with him on this one. It's like, yeah, there's bullshit out there telling people you gotta fucking do so much every day to maintain your body weight, which, depending on your body type and your diet, yes, that's true, but at the same time, like, there are people, like, like, it's a fact that, depending on your lifestyle choices and your diet and all this stuff like that, you can be a pretty lazy person and still maintain a healthy body weight just from your diet and your lifestyle choices, and, like, obviously I'm saying, like, depending on, like, your body type and that stuff too, and your lifestyle, all that stuff, but, yeah, like, you can be very skinny or fat person, depending, and, you could be either, there's people out there that, I'm sure go for walks every day and exercise on a regular basis, and they're still obese because they eat milk, dairy, and eggs, and they think that stressing out and exposing themselves to a bunch of toxins and pollutants is somehow healthy, and probably addicted to drugs and alcohol too, maybe. And they're all banged up inside and mentally because they are not aligned with natural law, essentially, or, basic principles of reality, that dictate that being a herbivore eating meat will never be healthy, and you won't somehow have a healthy body weight, exposing your body to a bunch of, unnecessary things, like, cholesterol, saturated trans fat, etc.
The fact that they're allowed to put that out on the radio is unbelievable. But kind of getting off track, but that's why I care about this stuff, and that's why I have some of the reactions I have to bad messages that are put out by people with a platform, which is basically what this documentary is. So to get back to the documentary, first thing is I think the whole thing is a mess, to be quite honest with you, just because they make a lot of wild claims. They're inaccurate with a lot of the things they say.
Okay, yeah, some random fucker online can just call out a documentary that was based in facts. Like, yeah, I'm not going to say what the health is entirely, factual, 100% everything. Like, yeah, they took averages and they could have clarified some things or whatever, but, overall, the overwhelming majority of that documentary is great. It tells the truth as far as what's going on, to some degree, as far as being a herbivore that wants to eat fucking meat.
And then, some of the things they state are kind of obvious. So they start the movie out saying if you eat processed meat, your chance of cancer goes up. Well, I think for the most part, all of us.
Oh yeah, that's a big one too. I always forget this one for some reason. I should say always, but yeah, processed and cooked meat is directly linked to cancer. Good luck denying that reality. That's been proven multiple times now. I think the CDC, or not the CDC, what's this? Some website or some group labels, meat, I think processed, or I don't know if it's cooked meat or processed meat, but I know it's at least meat, as a class 2 or type 2 carcinogen or some shit like that, right below cigarettes. Yeah, no wonder everybody's got fucking cancer now.
Just understand that processed meat is not good for us. If you don't, then, I don't blame you for that. I didn't know at one point, so I just think it's common sense now because I've been doing it so long, but that doesn't mean it necessarily is. So yeah, processed meat's not good for you. That's no big surprise. And the big ones on that are like bacon, hot dogs, sausage, all that kind of stuff. And then they say a lot about all these major corporations are in cahoots with each other, putting out nutrition recommendations and all this other stuff. But the funny thing is every doctor they interview and they use the resource in that documentary is a vegan, so they didn't get any other opinions.
Yeah, because they only interviewed people who knew the fucking truth, and they're aligned with the truth now because they're vegan. I hate the fact that it's called vegan. I don't like it. It should just be called I like the whole idea that it's just the natural human diet that we're supposed to be eating to promote health, natural, whole, organic foods that aren't based in fucking, pollution and fucking GMOs and, of course the dead animal products. Call vegan is, just the name of it. It's calling them abolitionists, even nowadays they're still abolitionists, trying to abolish slavery and abolish bullshit, yeah.
As a matter of fact, 2 of those doctors own a vegan company that benefited from the 2 ladies, or maybe 3, that went through major behavior changes. So they also have money tied into them.
Yeah, people I can turn this around on anybody who says, oh, it's just all to push a vegan agenda and try to get broccoli producers to make a bunch of money. Well, yeah, and the same respect me turn on you saying that milk, dairy, and egg industries make those people billions, literally. You can't deny that. So anybody who says, oh yeah, it's just to push a vegan agenda to make someone else money, yeah, some of these people are making money off of it. I obviously am not trying to get people to go vegan. I'm trying to push on, trying to push, I shouldn't use the word push, but trying to persuade people to see the truth. Like, get some fucking morals, get some environmentally sustainable behaviors and lifestyle going on, and, get some health going on. Like, yeah, so, I'll never deny that some people make a lot of money pushing their vegan or promoting their vegan agenda with their books or whatever. And some of these people are obviously going to be, just trying to catch on to, uh, the gold mine quote of telling the truth as far as getting healthy and sustainable and some good morals and all that stuff, being vegan. But, yeah, like the whole, yeah, and once again, we live on a planet where being a greedy person is kind of necessary. You have to kind of look out for yourself by selling your own product. People are either like a wage dead slave to the system, or they find an entrepreneurial way where they can just create something and get paid for it directly that way. And so, yeah, live on a planet where you're basically forced to trade and you're forced to make money unless you want to somehow survive being, fucking Joe the caveman out in the middle of nowhere, growing his own food or whatever and drinking from lakes and, yeah.
Into the whole scenario. So, what's their agenda? It'd be my question.
The truth.
Some of the misleading things. So I'll try to be quick on this, but some of the misleading things, they say that your chance of colorectal cancer goes up 18% when you consume meat on a regular basis. Well, it's a relative change of 18%, so everyone's chance of colorectal cancer is 5.5%. When you consume meat on a regular basis, it goes up to 6.5%. So it's actually a percentage change of 1.
And then people just whether you want to dance around statistic numbers and say, oh, it's all this, and whatever, people are fucking dying. And you're just going to say, oh, it's just this difference? People are literally in pain, suffering, animals are dying, the environment's being destroyed, and all you can say is, oh, it's just this, it's no big deal.
But what they're saying, how they got that number was that 1 point is 18% of 5.5. So they're saying an 18% increase. And that's just a scare tactic. They're using that to, they're not being completely honest, and they're trying to shock you.
Well, yeah, sometimes people need to be shocked into the truth, and sometimes they twist the numbers around. I don't really agree with that at all. I think telling the blatant honest truth, but I don't, I'm not going to go into the whole statistical analysis, the way numbers can be turned around as far as different things like that, but people are fucking dying. Once again, people are in pain. They're paying extraordinary amount of bills to promote, especially with cancer, the whole chemotherapy and radiation fraud, which literally just kills more people than actually saves. People actually treated properly with cancer, it'd be, dietary change, exercise, de-stressing, and then, of course, CBD and, cannabis healing and energy healing and all these different things to, combined effort of multiple pronged attack against cancer, and dis-ease, so, yeah.
And scare you away from eating meat, which I think they do a pretty good job of that in this documentary, which, in my opinion, isn't right. The other thing is some of the things they were not completely honest about. Actually, unprocessed red meats, poultry, dairy, and fish actually help prevent colon cancer. So there's studies that show that if you consume those things on a regular basis, you have a lower risk of colon cancer.
Wow, okay, yeah, they can twist studies around, or they can just blatantly lie on studies or whatever, and usually, it's kind of often to lie on studies, you usually have to twist it around, but usually find lying more just the bullshit articles and all that stuff, but, once again, so what if you can, if we're dealing with a sick population here too, so if you take, your average person who, of course, eats meat, dairy, and eggs, some amount, and then, of course, you take your average omnivore diet person, the herbivore that thinks eating meat, dairy, and eggs is healthy, and you compare them to someone who only eats a little bit of fish, and maybe a little bit of fish, dairy, and eggs, and maybe a little bit of meat here and there, or other animals, like, yeah, they might have a slightly decreased risk of all these other causes of disease because they're not eating as much as everybody else is. So, like, it's really sad, the misinformation and the mind fucking that's been going on with this whole thing, but yeah.
Um, they, one of the funniest claims in this is that diabetes is caused by consumption of meat. That is the most absurd thing in the whole documentary, in
I like denying reality.
my opinion. I've had a lot of clients over the years. I have clients currently who are diabetic, and I will get them off all their meds if they follow my nutrition plan. And a big part of the nutrition plan is eating meat, usually 2 to 3 times a day. And it's usually 4 to 8 ounces each time. No, they're not fatty meats, which I don't have any of my clients eat a lot of fatty meats, but they eat a lot of meat. So. The whole thing that diabetes is caused by too much meat is absurd. Diabetes is caused by consuming too many, overconsumption of calories. And what's actually funny about that is when they've done those studies, they found that overconsumption.
So people don't understand, this shit. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I've only been looking into this off and on for 10 years, more or less, trying to figure out healthy lifestyle, among other things. And for his diet, and exercise, whatever, but, like, it's just sad. People don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This guy trying to argue against diabetes and stuff like the whole diabetes argument, I know it's just basically insulin resistance, as far as I know, and being able to, having your body, like, reacting to, meat, dairy, and eggs, and, yeah, of course, I'm sure you can, he's had a few people who've been able to, heal themselves or whatever, like, I shouldn't say heal themselves, but get off their diabetes medication through changing their diet to some respect, but at the end of the day, you're still giving yourself atherosclerosis, inflammation of the arterial tree, brain fog, cell death, emotional problems as far as, consuming all these hormones and shit and the dead animal products. Like, the list goes on. You just don't want this shit in your body. So any argument people make for it, just are ignoring the other side. Like, even if you can make an argument saying, oh, it's got protein, it's got this, like, oh, it's got B12. Yeah, because they inject the fucking animals with B12. And, B12 even comes from the environment naturally. Like, if we're eating dirt, drinking rainwater, or, lake water or whatever, we'd be exposing ourselves to B12. But, of course, the environment's all banged up, too, because of pollution and chemicals and shit. So, like, this whole argument people make against veganism by, saying, oh, it's got this, oh, it did this. Well, like, anecdotes are meaningless in the scientific and historic wall of truth. Like, study after study after study coming out for decades saying this stuff's bad for you. Like, I remember hearing as a kid on, TV and magazines, of course, and other sources saying, if you want to be healthy, don't eat cholesterol, don't do this, don't do that. But of course, that's, pushed and then pushed away and suppressed by the bullshit campaign by people making billions of dollars so they can afford to spend millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, convincing people to buy their shit so they can make even more money. Like, yeah.
Consumption of protein does not correlate with diabetes, so it's mainly overconsumption of fat and carbs. So again, they're not completely honest about what's going on there.
Carbs
they kind of beat up dairy a little bit too, and dairy is actually associated with lower mortality rates. They don't mention that. And it's actually associated with improved health markers.
But obviously, you don't want to be eating too much. Like, too much of anything isn't good for you. That's why if you're eating, like, fucking a ton of fucking more than you need every day of any food, you're going to start gaining weight and maybe have other problems too. Like, but then, at the end of the day, though, like, I know fruits and veggies are really healthy for you, so good luck trying to overdose or be unhealthy eating a ton of those things. And most of us gain weight, and even then it's healthy weight because it's just going to be a little bit of, like, dietary fiber is the shit as far as helping to maintain a healthy body weight too. Like, that's why dietary fiber is great. And it's sad when people just think, oh, I gotta eat some cheese and eggs and eat some lean meats and I'll be healthy. Wrong.
Don't want them being lean body mass. They mention there that one egg is equal to, they mention a study that one egg is equal to 5 cigarettes. So they don't really own it, but they mention it. And the funny thing is,
Yeah, and I won't ever deny that. Like, yeah, obviously it could be, one egg is, equal to 5 cigarettes, whatever, but in comparison to the whole damage you're doing to your body, yeah, I can easily see that as far as the cholesterol and all the other bullshit in eggs. Like, gross, I don't want that in my body. I can't believe I used to, like, this is me. I used to actually literally drink raw eggs thinking I'd somehow get health, like, put on more muscle and get healthier and all this stuff by doing that. And yeah, like, it's just like, fuck. But yeah, so, it's just ridiculous.
is about that. What they're beating up with the eggs is the cholesterol. The cholesterol that you consume in your foods has very little to do with the cholesterol that's in your blood. Cholesterol in your body is mainly produced from your liver.
Wow, okay. So, yeah, our body produces cholesterol. Yeah. Yeah, the liver makes sense. But then you have the whole respect of fucking dietary cholesterol increases serum or blood cholesterol. This is a fact. They've proven it for decades now that when you're a herbivore that wants to eat meat, dairy, or eggs, you're exposing yourself to higher levels of cholesterol in your blood, causing atherosclerotic lesions and plaque. And anybody who denies this reality is just in willful denial of reality and doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
And it's mainly produced, number one, genetics. So, we're all genetically predisposed to different things. So there's that part of it. And then the second thing is the more inflammation you have inside your body, the more your liver is going to produce cholesterol because it's an anti-inflammatory. So it's actually a good guy. So your liver.
Okay. You want healthy levels of cholesterol in your blood. Period. You don't want unhealthy levels. If you're having, if your body's in repair state or whatever, yeah, you're going to have a little bit higher levels of cholesterol so your body can repair it. That makes sense. And, you can just repair and maintain. Cholesterol's there to repair and maintain. It makes sense. And then all of the other shit too in our bloodstream helps repair and maintain. But, yeah.
You're going to produce more cholesterol when you're inflamed. Things that cause inflammation are poor diet, sugars, processed carbs, unhealthy fats, lack of sleep, too much stress, all the things, that are...
So yeah, once again, I'll give this guy props, saying that yeah, he's onto the truth as far as when they want to eliminate or reduce processed foods. Have healthy levels of exercise and working out or whatever. No or like stress killing. Healthy levels of stress, not like vein popping, angry as fuck stress. That's stupid and it's gonna destroy you. And yeah, like everything else, reduce your exposure to electromagnetic fields that are going to be throwing off your DNA and all this shit too. Like the list goes on. You want to really reduce your exposure to pollutants and toxins and stress, and the list goes on. De-stress, be happy, healthy, loving person. Or else,
are part of an unhealthy lifestyle, basically. Alcohol, tobacco, all that stuff.
Exactly that too.
Kind of mentioned animal proteins are a much better source of protein. They're complete proteins, and they have much better bio.
Okay, like plant proteins are complete. Like every single plant as a whole, whole food plant has, a full protein profile. Okay, every plant has this. That's why all animals that are herbivores get that way by fucking eating plants. Like, so yeah, protein, all the vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, like, the list goes on. All the good stuff that you want in your food is in plants. You can't get any of that shit in animal products, except maybe, some proteins and maybe a few vitamins and minerals, depending on how much the animal you're eating was injected with shit, and how much, how rich the nutrient environment, or how nutrient rich the animal's food was, and water, and all that stuff. But, yeah.
Availability, so they are absorbed better, and they are easier for your body to use, basically. So that's basically my.
Okay, I'm not an expert on the whole absorption thing. Like, yeah, but I know it comes down to, once again, I don't give a fuck about your whole absorption rate, bioavailability, any of this shit. If there's fucking toxin or unwanted substances in it, like once again, I could have a super healthy smoothie with kale and blueberries and strawberries and bananas and all my other favorite fruits, and maybe a few vegetables and maybe some, some turmeric and, other things too to really help make me feel healthy and give it a nice flavor I like. But then someone wants to put some cat poo and a little bit of mercury in there and say, oh, this is good for you because it's got some fucking antioxidants and some protein and some minerals and vitamins. I'm like, yeah, it's got those things, but it's also got cat shit in it and mercury. Like, so these people's arguments are just one-sided and ignorance-based, which is sad.
My thoughts on the documentary. So I just think it's misleading. I don't think it's completely honest, and I think it confuses people. And I think we're, in.
Yeah, and I think you are dishonest, misleading, and confusing people with your bullshit arguments. So, yeah, you're onto the truth as far as some things, man, but, James, at the other end, you can't just be thinking that somehow being a herbivore, eating meat, is healthy, or moral, or environmentally sustainable. So, you lose.
This industry, there's enough confusion, and that stuff needs to be cut out, and people just need to be told the honest truth and the basics. Keep it simple, basically. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I'll say it again, I do not have a problem with veganism.
Once again, I have no problem with people who aren't cannibals. I actually have friends who aren't cannibals.
Teach their own. Do what you want to do.
If you don't want to needlessly kill for taste pleasure while destroying your and not destroying yourself and the environment or whatever, sorry, I probably fucked that up, but yeah, if you want to be a healthy person who's moral, logically consistent, and obviously in all these things, and then of course environmentally sustainable, then yeah, I have no problem with your lifestyle. But if I want to be unnecessarily kill so I can destroy my health and the environment and be logically inconsistent, then that's my choice. I can destroy innocent life if I want to, because that's my choice. Yeah, good job there, borderline psychopath.
But when it comes to fat loss and building muscle, it's going to be more difficult if you cut out animal protein.
Joke. Vegans lose weight easily as fuck, especially when they switch their diet to, healthy whole foods with lots of, fiber and shit. If you're an obese vegan, then, it's probably hard to do for one thing if you're trying to be healthy and exercise. Like, I know for me, and other people too, going vegan kind of makes them just want to exercise and be healthy again because they realize how good it feels to be healthy. Like, when I stopped smoking, when I stopped drinking, all this shit, I realized how good it felt to be, healthy and not have to worry about, all this bullshit that goes along with, the mild, temporary joy of being getting a little drunk and having a cigarette. Like, so, yeah.
But I do think a vegetarian or vegan diet is much healthier than the average American diet, so for what that's worth.
Yeah, of course it's because the actual diet's supposed to be, the vegan diets, the vegetarians are just, lost. But yeah, come on.
Nothing wrong with it per se. My one concern with the vegan diet and vegetarian diet is almost every time I see somebody come in that is vegetarian or vegan, they have trouble consuming enough protein. And then it's also the quality of protein, like I mentioned.
Yeah, for me, I found if you want to consume enough protein, yeah, I can get it obviously from, broccoli and spinach and stuff too, but other great sources of protein are lentils, beans, peas, the list goes on. It's not, people want to think going vegan means you're just eating a bunch of broccoli and eating a bunch of bananas and apples. Like, yeah, you can do that. You can be a whole raw vegan who, is able to do this, depending on sprouted seeds and stuff like that, but really nutrient, protein dense things you want to go into into legume thing, beans, lentils, seeds, these solid little, plant packets of, protein to build life. That's what a seed is. It's a lentil or bean and seed. It's kind of that little, I'm not so sure about lentils, they're very interesting, but, I love lentils. I fucking eat lentils on a regular basis, and yeah, so if you want good protein, and healthy protein isn't going to give you atherosclerotic lesions and plaque and inflammation and all the other shit you don't want from eating meat, dairy, and eggs, then eat animal protein and you'll be healthier. And depending on how much you exercise and work out, you may or may not be building muscle faster depending on if you're eating a bunch of animal protein, but that's irrelevant when you're not destroying your health, you're not destroying the environment, and you're not destroying, big one, is a big one, is the poor animals. Like, needlessly killing is fucked. You can't ever deny that. If you are a moral human being and you think needless killing is somehow justified, congratulations, you are what's wrong with this world.
So they generally have less muscle tissue, and they have a harder time building muscle. That's probably not too big of a concern until you're, 50, 55, 60 years old.
And people like the whole against vegan argument is like, oh, I've never seen a healthy vegan. Oh, vegans are all often so skinny. Yeah, because there's lots of vegans are vegan because of moral reasons or environmental reasons too, and of course health reasons. But you're not gonna not every vegan is a fucking super health nut. As far as exercise and weight building and weight training or bodybuilding and shit. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna have vegans that are bodybuilders and all that stuff and athletes, but your average person isn't a bodybuilder. Your average person isn't some super healthy fitness freak who wants to be big and healthy and fit all the time, and just want to be healthy on some level, depending on what type of vegan they are. And yeah, like, people's arguments against veganism are so stupid. Going back again to the whole population, like, yeah, vegans make up a very small percentage of the population. So, like, and then even like smaller numbers, like, I think 80% of vegans are women. So, 1 in 4, or 1 in 5 vegans are guys, roughly. So, like, most women aren't into bodybuilding. They think, I know most women probably think bodybuilding is kind of like, it looks healthy to some respect. But then you get these really big, bulky, massive-looking guys who just look all like fucking like cartoon characters. Yeah, I think, like, that turns a lot of people off, and so you're not going to find a lot of bodybuilding women who want to be all bulky, muscular things, and same with men, too. Like, I won't get into my whole personal anecdotes, but yeah, this is ridiculous. People's arguments against vegans don't understand the population in regards to how nearly all vegans, or most vegans, I should say, are vegan to put on muscle. Like, like, obviously, building muscle on a vegan diet is reality. It happens. It's not hard, like, getting stronger and building muscle. And even, like, people say building muscle, like, I'd rather have strength over muscle. If my muscles are, basically, like, if I can be really strong but not be the super bulky looking guy, I'd prefer that. I'd rather not be some bulky, massive guy who can barely wipe his ass and walk through doorways than, some, I'd rather not be some big bulky guy than some guy who's, either as strong as that or stronger than, but also having a body type that's not massively bulky and looks kind of like cartoonish and silly. Like, not gonna, lots of bodybuilders and athletes obviously look healthy and great, but there's also some that look, like cartoon characters. Get as offended as you like about that. I'm not gonna deny how I think some people look in regards to what their lifestyle has done to their body.
But that stuff's pretty precious, so you don't want to lose muscle tissue, especially as we get older, because you're going to become frail.
Obviously not.
And more vulnerable
Don't want
to
anything as you get older.
disease and illness and those sort of things. So it's important to keep that lean tissue on your body, which is why it's important to consume more animal proteins, in my opinion. And like I said, mainly things I recommend, we generally go high protein diet with our clients, low to moderate carbs and low to moderate fats, and a lot of we do unprocessed meats, unprocessed foods in general, so we try to cut out a lot of the processed foods. But that's basically it. If you guys have any questions on this video.
Alright, so that's basically it. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my video here. I find it interesting to just dismantle these bullshit arguments people make, like, especially, like, leaving, it's going to be kind of funny as far as, like, people now and in the future being able to see the bullshit arguments that the carnists or meat eaters, make against veganism, and how they're just misinformed, misled, socially engineered as fuck to just not know what the fuck they're talking about, and how sad it is how these people are destroying their health, the environment, and the poor animals, obviously, with their poor, misinformed choices. Their, essentially their ignorance. Like, the information's out there, the truth has always been there. If you want to find it, you've been able to look for it and, get to it more or less depending on what time period you're born into. But especially nowadays with the internet, like, there's no excuse people can be making to be as stupid as they are, what essentially happens, I think, with these ignorant people is just they only hear what they want to hear, and then they don't even listen to what they don't want to hear. Essentially, that makes sense. Like, there's a difference between like hearing and actually listening. Like, I'll hear. Like when I hear something, and then if I know it's actually like based in truth, I'll start listening to it. And even if I think it's bullshit, I'll listen to it too. Like this guy, obviously, I listen to, so I can respond to his bullshit arguments, more or less. Of course, my arguments were, I know I'm kind of going off on tangents and forgetting what I was saying, because like my thought processes can be really strung out and long. It makes me forget where I was going with it, because it's just, yeah, how slow words are to use to me. But yeah, like it's, these people are leaving a legacy online of being ignorant morons. Like all the stupid comments that we see people make online are just gonna go down in history for future generations to view. The internet archives they'll have as far as the bullshit, vegans had to deal with to dismantle these carnists who just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like literally, like, or they're just in denial of it too. Like somehow, dietary cholesterol is safe to eat for herbivores because, you know, like logical fallacies and misunderstanding basic, biological functions of the human body. Like, yeah, it's sad how shitty schooling is and how shitty everything is on this planet as far as like what the corporations and all their government trash have fucking forced down people's throats. But yeah, like it's ridiculous. So everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hope it wasn't too long. Oh wow, a nice hour and 11 minutes. Alright, peace. Oh yeah, shout out to fucking Logan Blake, Thunder Bay personal trainer, I think it is, for suggesting me to do this. Hopefully you found it on his channel too, as long as and also on mine too, obviously. But yeah, peace, love, truth, compassion, vegan, and arcani, because no rulers, no masters is this shit. Not saying no rules, we need rules, basic, simple ones, but yeah, peace.